If you ever find yourself lying awake in the early hours of the morning, worrying about any aspect of your business, whether it's clients, cash flow, or an important staff member who might leave, you need to hear what I have to say about how worrying kills business owners. Hey, I'm Paul Green, and don't forget, for help finding new clients for your MSP, we've created an easy-to-follow marketing system. Get that and all the content to go in it at mspmarketingedge.com. For the first few years of my business owning journey, back in sort of 2005, 2006, I was a terrible worrier. I had a healthcare marketing agency back then, and I'd lie awake at 3 a.m. worrying whether this client or that client was going to leave. Every complaint, even about the smallest things, I took very personally, and I would obsessively check my email around the clock, waiting for a complainant to respond to my apology. And then the birth of my daughter in 2010 actually made this worse just for a few months, probably thanks to sleep deprivation and just massive change in my life. Because of tiredness, I did actually reach a kind of a mental crisis point later on that year, and I did something smart. I actively made a decision to improve the way that I was thinking about my business, and I overcame much of my worries within a few months. I'm going to tell you 5 things that I did, because there might be some things in there that would help you if you're in that situation. So the first one was action. I switched to an action orientation. If something bothered me, I took swift and decisive action on it immediately. And the beauty of having an action-orientated mindset is anytime something's in your head that you could possibly worry about later, you deal with it, it's done, you move on, which is brilliant. The second thing I did was to say bye-bye to the idiots. I started firing clients that I was worrying about. In fact, I still have a rule today. If I wake more than 2 mornings in a row thinking negative thoughts about a client or a supplier or even a member of my team, then they must be fired that day. Or obviously, in the case of my team, I must start a disciplinary process. Life is too short to put up with idiots as clients, suppliers, or members of your team. The third thing I did is that I embraced the gorgeousness of recurring revenue. And I discovered monthly recurring revenue back then in 2010, and I completely flipped my business on its head. And as you know, because you've got recurring revenue, or I hope you do anyway, the peace of mind from a predictable cash flow is utterly astonishing. Even if you're not quite covering your overheads every month, you're in a much better position than someone who needs to sell stuff every month just to make ends meet within their business. The fourth change was I got really good at my marketing superpowers. I was always kind of good at marketing, but I really buckled down. I focused on marketing, I tried things, I read books, I went on courses, and then I systemized all of my marketing, exactly the same way I have done in my current business and the same way I advise MSPs to do. Because systematic marketing is predictable, which again gives you peace of mind. And then the fifth change that I made was to introduce balance and rest. And I stopped working in any way at weekends. Instead, I started enjoying the simple things again. Going for long walks, going to the cinema. I took proper holidays. I took proper breaks with no work interruptions. It was really good. It was healthy. And that, again, is a habit that I've carried through to this business. I can't see me ever not being a business owner, even if I live for another 40 years, maybe another 30 years at least, but because I've got that balance right. And if you don't, you need to introduce it. Let me just finish on why I wanted to talk about this. It's great that more and more people are talking about how tough mental health is for business owners and MSPs in particular. There's been a lot of talk about this within the channel. And I'm supporting someone through this worry right now. And it has reminded me just how destructive it can be. If you worry about your MSP, you're not alone. It's normal. And it can be overcome. And thinking about the business is healthy, but you need to understand that worrying about it is not. I've given you 5 things there that you can take action on to remove the worry and sleep better at night.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.